Oh, that was a slow 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I think that Schembri has said that he's going to go for a knockout. He's been training in Muay Thai, Thai kickboxing under Wagner Kohler from Brazil. And he says he's going to try and do a stand-up fight, but Johil laughed when I told him that.
Okay.
And he said that he thinks that this is going to be a great fight with Elvis. So Johil versus Elvis. Both men good on the ground. We know that because Elvis has got a long history of competing. There he goes. No surprise that Elvis is going to try and take it to the ground, and he slips on that shoot.
And that's what I wanted to say before, what I said before. I think the Oliveira guys have a better takedown defense. He's going to have to do better than this, especially with the new rule. Kicks allowed to the head, because otherwise he's going to get knocked out.
He really is, because if he does a slow shoot like that, Johil just needs to throw the soccer kick or a knee, and he's going to really hurt him. It looks like Schembri is backing up. I don't think he's trying to lure Johil in. It's just that maybe he's afraid of the striking of Johil. All that pre-fight talk of a knockout may have been just hyped to try and throw Johil off and make Johil think, well, maybe he's going to stand with me. But Johil's got his hands down. Probably doesn't have a lot of respect for the stand-up ability. There's a good low kick by Johil de Oliveira. And Schembri shoots in, and Johil, good straight arms and a good left roundhouse kick, boss.
It looked good. It needs a little bit more timing, and then it's going to be over. But if he keeps shooting like this, he gets his takedown, and it's going to happen. I mean, the knockout's going to come here.
It looks like that experience of Johil got quite a few more freestyle fights. This is Elvis's first mixed martial art fight. Hopefully he won't join the company of Saulo Ribeiro, Jean-Jacques Machado, Matt Serra, and Cape Dante, who were great jiu-jitsu stylists but went into mixed martial arts and all got beaten with strikes.
Yep. Nowadays, the game, like everybody is saying, you need to know everything. And this is going to show. This is kind of like Enzo with Anderson. You know, he couldn't take him down, and then that was a good low kick. Oh, and then we go for the takedown.
Schembri gets the takedown and into Johil's guard. It's an open guard. He looks like he's got a butterfly guard there, and Schembri is trying to get half mount, or looks like he's got half mount now, which is half guard for the person on bottom. It's interesting that this is really only the second time that two Brazilian fighters of note have met in international competition. The first time being UFC star Fabiano Iha versus Kleber Luciano, and that was an extreme challenge. Fabiano won by knockout. But this is usually the Brazilians, they'll fight each other in Brazil, but they usually don't fight each other outside of Brazil.
Yeah, and why would you think, you know? It's a little strange because they're always, yeah, it's always great performance. They're great fighters from Brazil, you know, it's always a big spectacle. So why? Yeah, probably no, because, you know, they need Japanese fighters. They mix it up. Like America against the Ukraine or Russia, you know, Holland versus Brazil.
Do you think that Nino's going to get them out here?
I think he has, but I think Johil should have tried to twist him. Because as long as you got the arms around the neck of Johil can try to twist him, and then he has to put his arms out to post, otherwise he's going to get turned. And in that moment, you can try to escape and go to a full guard.
Yeah, Nino has invented a submission move called the Gogo Plata, which he is on the bottom. Now, right now, he's on top, but a lot of those punches didn't really land yet. Both men seem very relaxed. This is where Nino wants to fight. He wants it on the ground. He wants to be on top, but he works very well, as I said earlier, from the bottom. He's a former world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 1998, and he's known as a really good submission fighter. Chopping away with that right hand. Johil has a good deal of scar tissue over his forehead, and Johil going for an ankle lock, and Johil back up.
That's exactly what I told you before to do. He should have tried to turn. He did it, and right away he went for the leg lock. So he should do it again right now. I think they're in the same position.
Right, I think it's going to be hard to get a leg lock on Schembri because he's so adept at the grappling game.
Yeah, look, but he could have used it to try to escape. You know, now he used it for a leg lock, but the next time I think it's better, it's more smart for him to get up and do the same thing as he started the fight with.
Johil has been with some great fighters. Among others, he had 2 tremendous matches with another fighter who's on our card tonight, Jose Pele Landi. The first time Johil fought Pele, he defeated him on a unanimous decision. Then they met again about a year later, and Pele avenged the loss with a unanimous 30-minute Vale Tudo rules decision over Johil de Oliveira.
Yeah, Vale Tudo in Brazil is no protection, no nothing, huh?
Yeah, they do headbutts. Here in Pride, we've got quite a few rules to ensure the safety of the fighters,
which is very important.
I think that's very important because now that the sport is becoming more and more mainstream, especially in the United States. Interesting toe move there.
There's the toe catch. You call it the toe catch.
Yeah, we might call that the cup rob. Well, okay, back to the seriousness though. Johil got a real high guard, and now Nino almost going for a north-south. He's got a good side mount. Might be going for that key lock.
It would be very strange if you can catch somebody on this level with a key lock.
Little knee there attempt by Nino from the top and the side mount. Johil's also had a great match with one of the top trainers in the United States, a guy by the name of John Lewis, and that was in Extreme Fighting back in 1996. The fight was a draw, though. That was his first time fighting out of Brazil in the United States.
Yeah, that's just laying. I don't know what the referee's going to do. He should cross-face him a little bit. Crank the neck, looking for opportunities.
Those punches are very light. They're not going to do a lot of damage. Johil has been bashed on the bottom before, like we say in the Brazil. They'll headbutt, they'll punch with no gloves. Right now, this looks a lot like a submission wrestling match. There are some strikes, true, but on the ground, they're working for position.
Johil has been in a fire, so, I mean, if you can survive that, you pretty much can survive this too. It looks like every time when he holds his arm, Johil, around the neck of Elvis, he sets it up. It's good for Elvis to make that key lock, and maybe still it's going to happen, even on this level.
Whoa, nice axe kick there. It actually was on the back of the head, which I don't know that that's legal, but I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Johil had remarked to me that he thought that Carlos Newton, his previous opponent, was a stronger fighter than Nino is.
I think he's more well-rounded.
He almost turned his back to Nino. Now, that's a cautious thing. Now, Nino has the mount here. Notoriously, in the past, let's say around the early 90s to mid-90s, the mount.
Now, he's going for straight armbar.
Oh,
and he's got him.
He's got him. He really has it.
He's got him.
Tapped him. Perfect. Nino has tapped out Johil de Oliveira. I am surprised.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
And fast. He set it up perfect. Went to the side, called it up, stayed low, kept the elbow high, and he just fell backwards and he got it.
Wow, that was an impressive victory there for Nino. Welcome to Pride, Elvis.
Beautiful victory.
He executed that technique probably hundreds of times in the gym and in competition, and he did it here in Pride. Submissions are making a comeback via Elvis. 7-17 of round one. Submission victory. Tap out by Johil de Oliveira via the straight armbar.